happened last night. That's right. We had NFL players playing football on a high school field that couldn't keep the lights on for 4 quarters and couldn't provide water afterwards for the boys to shower in. But we have football to react to, and we will certainly do that all day today.
Yeah.
Congrats to the Browns. Get a big-time win.
Huge win.
Now, we are 0 for 1 in sports gambling. Shout out to one half of the hammer, Dahn. Cowboys, Tone Diggs. Tone, DTR, a dog. Yeah. You should have known that. Yeah. We've known that since high school in Vegas. Obviously, in college, you went through some learning curves as they were trying to reshape an entire culture at UCLA. He got on that field, looked inspired.
Yep.
He got on that field, he looked fast. He knew what he was doing. He threw an absolute strike to win that game last night. Couldn't have expected that, I guess. Is that what you're thinking here, Tom?
No, I mean, you had no idea. I mean, the scouting report on Kellen Mond was right. It was right on everything else. I didn't realize Tom Doyle was going to play that long. Kind of handcuffed.
Thanks, Tim.
Come on.
He was the best part.
Boyle.
Kind of handcuffed Strafolsky, but you know it is what it is. You're gonna have that at the end of some preseason games. Listen, this is fun.
Well, we will just like to go on record that we will not be able to be 900 and whatever it was and 0.
Yep.
No.
Because of all the games that we're going to bet on, every single one of them with a nice outcome or spread or money line bet, some sort of one bet on every single game. And we thought maybe we would be able to go perfect this year after getting our asses kicked last year.
Yeah.
We thought the Jets were the right decision because Zach Wilson's obviously going to play a little football.
Yeah.
And whenever you talk about Zach Wilson completing that 57-yarder right down the left side. And now allegedly this was an Aaron Rodgers play call where he goes to a hack. He goes, why don't we let this guy open it up a little bit? And he drops one in a bucket for a big-time play. Now, they would obviously go on and kick a field goal here.
Yep, that's right.
And kind of move forward, even though I thought this was – when I saw it happen, just naturally getting back into watching football, I'm like, well, they got to be at like the 5 or the 10 or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
They did that backed up. Zach Wilson, after the game, by the way, all smiles, complimenting his wide receivers, complimenting his teammates on the sideline, laughing a little bit, seemingly, developing into an NFL quarterback here behind Aaron. Now, he wasn't perfect for sure. There were some real Zach Wilson moments last night. It's preseason football. You're going to expect that. They had a running back for the Jets, too, that looked like he had his thing out of the University of Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Old Izzy gets busy. Teddy here, and immediately, not even a question, was he in, was he out, did he get the ball over the line? He knew. He starts doing his dance, as soon as he scores that touchdown. It was nice to experience that and feel that again. The energy of a team marching down a field and getting past the line that is painted that says, you should dance right now, pal. You saw the New York Jets logo there, and I thought to myself, you know what? Feels like a different vibe with this.
Oh, yeah.
Brand new.
Hi.
Feels like everybody's like very proud to be a Jet.
Weird.
Like back in the day, when Rex Ryan would say, that's fucking New York Jet football. Like people listen, yeah, that is New York. Feels like they got a real moxie, a real swagger.
Yeah.
Aaron did an interview last night, crushed it. Looked so happy.
Always.
Pumped.
Then at the end, 2 coaches sat in front of him, one Bob, one, I believe, defense coordinator. And he does little bunny ears on his way out. How you doing? Seems to be so comfortable. The team loves themselves. But with that being said, they're on 1.
That's right.
They are on 1.
The Cleveland Browns come in and get a massive win. I don't think any of us were expecting that. Congrats to them. The over hits as well.
Hell yeah.
Should have known that was coming. Football's back. It's a celebration. The Toxic Table is here. At Boston Connor, at Boston Connor's Mullet, and at Ty Schmidt. Connor, watching that game last night, what did you feel? Let me tell you what I felt.
Okay.
So, holy shit, we got football.
Yeah.
I was watching Football Night in America there. That show's interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
Can't wait to watch that all year.
Sure.
I'm excited, the addition of that Devin McCourty. I'm see if he's as good as his brother is on Good Morning Football, obviously, and they'll find their gel. And there wasn't a lot of football for them to react to, which is what normal Football Night in America is.
Exactly.
Football Night in America is a recap quickly of everything that happened on Sunday if you're not able to watch every single game. And then also here's some features about what we got tonight. It is a beautiful show. Last night we got a chance to see the scene or the set or the design or the crew for the first time. It was long, not a lot of shit to talk about.
No, not at all.
Not a lot of shit to talk about, but I still thought it did pretty well. Talk to the Hall of Famers and do that whole thing. But it made you feel like, okay, we're back.
Yes, big time.
We're back. Then you hear Tirico and Collinsworth talking, and Collinsworth, he addressed the Deshaun Watson thing early in a very, I thought, good way.
Perfect.
In a very free way. No, you don't normally hear that type of talk coming from over game plays with commentator. No. I think Collinsworth was almost like a podcaster last night. Because you're talking about a lot of things happening. He was giving a lot of his opinions, a lot of his takes. When he brought up Deshaun, he said, listen, I very much understand that everything off the field is very serious, but this is a football game. I get paid to talk about football. He just addressed it openly and said it. So here's my football take on Deshaun Watson. I appreciated him doing that. It felt a little looser, and obviously Tirico is able to host anything that he wants to because how smooth he is. But as you're listening to them talk over plays and you start seeing some things happen, you start seeing some tackles, some shots, some dancing, some strikes happening, that 57-yarder. It's like, we're here. We did it.
We did it.
I felt good watching that game last night. As soon as the lights go off, I go, hey, Mickey Mouse.
Of course.
No offense.
Yep.
I'm out of here. Now, you got to remember for me, as a person that the only time I've ever been to this field, this city, or this game, it got canceled because they put a rubber tarp over top of fresh paint, which acted as a magnifying glass for the sun pretty much to cook the paint.
Sure.
And it just melted everything all over the field. The turf field.
Right.
That some guys don't necessarily love and actually got off the field last night. I think, and I don't know how everybody feels about this, they got to figure out something different than this fucking game to start this Hall of Fame game. Okay? And I have no idea. I've not checked the pulse on whether or not I'm in the minority or the majority. But the lights going off in the third quarter, like this is the NFL's first night. This is how we're honoring all of the great. Joe Thomas, greatest tackle of all time, some people are saying. Rondé Barber, the man that created the nickelback position pretty much down in Tampa. Zach Thomas is going in. Klecko is going in. This crew of people that are going in are Goliaths in the NFL world. The NFL first back. Sunday Night Football, the highest rated thing in regular season, is the one producing this all. Can't keep the lights on. There's no water afterwards for the showers for guys to get out of there. You got to go to training camp earlier than everybody else. You got to use a locker room that is that's a nice high school, like a very, very, very nice high school stadium. But it's just like, why? Why are we even risking somebody getting hurt at this? Why are we even thinking about having this extra thing? There has to be a different way that you can kick off Hall of Fame weekend while using that. Have some sort of show, have some sort of Q&A, have some sort of something. I think the game, although I enjoyed watching football happen again,
for sure,
is just getting to a point where it's like, we all know what this is. None of these guys are playing, really. It's kind of stupid. And if we lose anybody in this game, we are all going to be incredibly pissed off about it. And the lights going off is just like another thing on it. That's how I personally feel. Connor, your thoughts?
Well, so last year we had this same conversation. I don't know if you remember, but we broached the idea of like, okay, why don't we have some sort of 7-on-7 Hall of Fame game, like with the actual Hall of Fame?
Oh, that'd be cool.
Instead of having the team.
Who is in good enough shape?
Yes, exactly.
Sure.
Obviously, doesn't have to be everybody.
No.
And then we put up some money here for a donation.
Bingo.
And for the guys, money too, for the guys.
For the players, and then a charity to match whatever.
And it's fun. They're mic'd up.
Yeah, the entire time. A bunch of fans are still there. And the easy way to do it, too, is like.
I do remember us talking.
Yeah, like the teammates of the players. Like, granted, Tiki Barber could probably come and play with his brother, but like teammates of the teams from those guys' teams when they were, playing going into the Hall of Fame. Like, that also brings in like the reunion aspect of it. Because remember, Peyton, when he did his, there was all those guys there that he used to play with and, his family, his brothers. Like, if they had a 7-on-7 game of like the Mannings and some of the guys they played with versus Polamalu and some of the guys that Troy played with, like that was kind of the idea that we were talking about.
There just has to be something else. And, we have no idea why the big, huge human, David Baker.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yes.
Need him back.
Need him back.
I mean, that came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of conversation immediately, like, oh, that seems like that's a bit abrupt quickly out of nowhere. That's probably not good.
Right.
And then everybody's kind of come out and been like, nope, this is just kind of time is up.
Yeah.
Kind of done with it. Wants to move, wants to go back home, wants to do his whole thing. And I would say this about David Baker. Obviously, he is gigantic.
Yep.
Yes.
Huge.
So large.
Like
7'5".
650.
okay. I was going to say 4, but
Yeah.
Couple
He might be
times.
now.
that motherfucker was active, though.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's everywhere.
I think what I've learned most through this whole negotiating for our show myself situation is like the best executives are just the most active. Like they answer every email. They answer every single call. They go to every single meeting. They are always engaged, always everything. Like that's what like good and some people equate like not doing that to laziness. Some people are hardworking people, but not supposed to be executives because they don't like dealing with all the bullshit that executives have to deal with. Like the standard email that is just like hey, this happened. Instead of just getting read and not responded to, like they're responding to it and they're saying, hey, everything's gonna be okay. Like that is like what I think makes these people climb the executive ranks.
Sure.
So being the head of the Hall of Fame for the NFL, pretty high executive job or whatever. Baker was seemingly everywhere.
Yeah.
And whenever he was talking, I mean, Roger Goodell is an adult. This is an adult.
Right.
It's crazy.
Here. This is an adult next to that human. Do we even know who's running it now?
No.
No idea.
You know what I mean? Like, I understand the paint got fucked up under David Baker's watch, but he was very active in, like, talking to the teams, talking to the media, like, hey, this is what's going on. It almost felt like he treated it as, like, this is our home. Like, we apologize that this has happened, but we still got to pay respect. I don't even know who's running the Hall of Fame last night.
No idea.
And as soon as those lights go off, I go to bed, so I guess I didn't follow it enough. But it's like, who's... You know, like David Baker, I think, endeared himself to a lot of people.
For sure.
Like, who's running the Hall of Fame now? Not that the Hall of Fame hasn't endeared itself to people. The Hall of Fame will always be the Hall of Fame. But the Hall of Fame kind of acts as its own business almost, as its own operation.
Yeah.
Certainly associated with the NFL. We'll kind of take this whole thing. But they're their own thing happening out there. Who's running it? Will this game continue? I'm not 100% sure. I like the weekend of celebration of the past.
Sure.
But damn, man, 1 quarter, 2 quarters last night. But you know what, though? DTR getting in there was fucking awesome.
Sick.
Right.
DTR getting in there was sweet.
Jets. I was surprised. Jets had both of their first round DNs from the last 2 years playing, which was surprising to me. And then Mekhi Becton didn't like the field. He's like, I gotta get out of here.
Dude, imagine somebody gets hurt in this game that matters. Sean Sweesham, the kicker for the Steelers.
Douchey,
He blew his knee out in the Hall of Fame game. It's just like, what a nightmare for all parties there. But I like the football was back.
Yeah.
But I think we could do it in a different way. I think we can do it in a different way to say the NFL's back without having to do what they did last night.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Like, it's unless you have absolutely nothing else to do and then nothing to do the following day, like, it's tough at halftime to be like, all right, I'm going to wait 15, 20 minutes and I'm going to strap in for the second half. Like, it's very tough to do that. But also, like, because we've waited so long and the NFL's back, it's hard just to, like, bitch about the refs and stuff like that. But we talked about it before the show. It's like you have so many penalties because these guys haven't been in camp very long. A lot of these guys aren't ever going to play in the NFL. So it's just, like, super sloppy. And at a certain point, you know, it's just like, what are we doing out here?
We get it's a legal formation.
Yeah,
ref.
exactly.
There should be some, like, Hall of Fame flag that they're able to do. They're able to, like, click a button.
Right.
Like in practices, for instance.
Yeah.
And refs come to practice. And there'll be a catch, and they'll just, like, hold their flag up and wave it. They're like, oh, buddy was lined up offsides. Like, before this thing, he was covering up the tight end. Last night, there was, like, 4 illegal formations.
Yeah.
And none of it, like, mattered because it was an incomplete pass. And it's like everything that was kind of taking place, it all felt like that's warranted. I wish there was something where they would just be like, hey.
Yeah, treat it more like a scrimmage almost.
Yeah, you need to know that this, because the refs are saying, we're being told that this
Right.
is.
Hey, this is our preseason, too.
We need to get better.
Getting
That wide receiver's lined up over that tight end. I mean, we can all see. I told him to step back. Well, that guy's about to shit his pants because he has no idea if this is his last rep playing football ever in his entire life.
Right.
And also, he is trying to figure out what play is being called. He's not even thinking about it. This is vastly different than the regular season. It would be nice if they kind of tempered expectations
A little bit.
on how that whole thing would go, too, with players that most of them, are going to be doing other professions here in about 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah.